So it looks more and more likely that Liverpool's summer window for the 24-25 season, obviously there's a winter one as well, but the summer window has been an absolute failure, even with the signing of a goalkeeper for next season. Doesn't help us right now. The only silver lining, if we can call it that, is a player who does have skill, quality, and a lot of potential to still go forward at a young age, relatively young age, 26 in Chiesa. Cheap price, relatively low risk. If it works, master stroke. If it doesn't, well, you get rid. Cheap, no real, no real worries in that aspect there. But interesting, something to point out from Grizz Khan that he tweeted. He quote tweeted himself on August the 14th. He said, running out of excuses or time when it comes to defending LFC's policy in the transfer market. Our last 4 transfers have been release clauses being activated or cheap opportunistic buys. How is this sustainable and being able to stay competitive at the same time? And then he's retweeted that recently saying, nothing more to add until we see how the season develops, but the feeling is one of pure frustration, confused as to how we've not been able to strengthen in one position, just one position, on a new coach that they had identified needs improving, in his opinion, not ours on social media, but his. It is baffling. Yes, well, he even said, I've identified we need to have a defensive midfielder covered. And then when Zubamendi didn't work out, what happened? Well, we don't need Zubamendi. We have Zubamendi at home. When we don't have a Zubamendi at home, we have a Ryan Gravenberch, we have a Alexis McAllister, we had a Stefan Bajcetic, and we have a Dominic Soboslai. We also have a Wataru Endo, who is probably not seen as a player that Arne Slot wants to use, but I'm not going to do any madness or anything like that, but this is the frustration we have as Liverpool fans, myself at least. And I know there's a large chunk of Liverpool fans out there who will say, this is actually not that bad. The squad is good. In Arne Slot, we trust, and it's worked in the past. It's going to work again. We'll make this do. Okay, but for those that live in the reality, who live in the real world, the universe, and the reality that Doctor Strange is the one in however many million it is. This is the one. And in this reality, Liverpool don't go past third or even fourth if there's some sort of drop-off with the players we have now, with the squad we have right now. As it stands, it is 1:56 a.m. on the 31st of August for myself. So there is still 5 or so hours left in the day, 6 hours maybe, for last minute deals or whatever's happening in the world of football. And while Osimhen is still a possibility at the moment, I'm not sure what's happening there for Chelsea. Marina has been injured at Arsenal, which is a bit weird. Sterling could still go to Arsenal. Sancho is potentially going to Chelsea. I don't know. Sterling to United even. I don't even know what's happening. I'm not up to date with this shit. It just moves too quickly. But for Liverpool's sake, why could we not sign a defensive midfielder when we know we've needed one for how long? We know we've needed one for 4 straight fucking seasons, and still nothing has happened. Now, people might say, well, you're just being negative and blah, blah, blah. It's like, no. I want this team to succeed. I want us to do well. I want this team to win. But as it stands, this squad is not going to be winning anything bar a cup if we're lucky, because we don't have the squad to make it through. Now, do we have some quality players in depth and whatever? Yes, I've seen people tout Liverpool have the best attacking depth. I'm not sure if that is true or not. People will have their own opinions. As a Liverpool fan, I can take some bias and say, yes, we do, because on the left, we have Gakpo and Diaz. In the center, we have Darwin and Jota. On the right, we have Salah and now Chiesa. But the men could rotate across that front line themselves. Midfield, bit of a different situation. Centre backs, full backs. There is still 2 for each position, but is that going to be enough? Is that enough quality for the run that we're expecting to have this season, where we're going to play in Champions League, we're going to play in the FA Cup, we're going to play in the League Cup, and we're going to try and push through in the Premier League? Is this enough to push for a title challenge? I don't think so. Now, some will say, well, Man City don't have that big of a squad, which is true. They don't have that big of a squad, but they've got quality players all over the pitch. They just re-signed Gundogan after a year away at Barcelona. They brought in Savinho from their sister club, and everything looks to be good there. Haaland scoring hat-tricks for fun. De Bruyne is back in full fitness. Foden seems to have taken off from where he left off. Doku's there. You've still got Grealish. You've still got Kovacic, Rodri. The defense speaks for itself. They can be got at, but they are still the pinnacle. Arsenal brought some players in. I've seen Arsenal fans very unhappy. Arsenal fans not happy with the club not signing a centre forward after they know themselves that they are lacking in goals. Yes, you can say Havertz will get you 15 goals a season. Jesus is injured half the time. He's not even available. Saka can only do so much himself. Martinelli has not been doing anything on that left side, at least for a good chunk of last season. So what do? Trossard comes in off the bench, scores you a goal. If he starts, maybe not as effective. But then what happens if you need to rest him? Bring on Martinelli. Is he going to get you something? Arsenal fans could probably disagree. Chelsea, on the other hand, Chelsea have got players aplenty, but is it just quantity over quality, or is there some quality in that? I'm not saying they don't have a quality squad. If they do get Osimhen, that's big. Let's not make two bones about it. If they get Osimhen, that is a big thing for them. And that will probably guarantee him a fair few goals if he takes to the league in relative quickness and ease, because then they've got João Felix, they've got Pedro Neto, they've got Cole Palmer, they've got Nkunku, they've got Jackson. You can equal to Darwin Nunez, I believe. Some people big him up more. Madueke is on that right side now as well. I'm missing somebody. Not that he's a big player or any good, but Mudryk on a wing as well. Obviously, the midfield, Caicedo, Lavia, Enzo. Who else they got? Bloody hell. Someone else they got in there as well. It's escaping my mind at the moment. Their defense is still a bit how's it going, but they've got talent in their forward ranks as well. But is it enough? Who's going to have the best forward line in the league? That's going to be the question mark. If Haaland gets an injury or something like that, who steps up for Haaland now since Alvarez has gone to Atletico Madrid? So that'll be interesting to see. But to bring it back to Liverpool, yeah, another window where we have not got what we needed. And this is probably going to come back and bite us in the ass, which is why I've said in previous videos and streams, if we are in or around top 3, top 4 come Christmas time, you best fucking get on the phone and start calling up clubs, look for a fucking capable DM and bring him into the club in January on the 1st. No mucking about. I don't want to see no DM being signed at the end of January. You bring him on the 1st of January, New Year's Day. I don't give a fuck if they've got a hangover from partying. You bring them in. I don't be mucking around anymore. Centre back, left back, DM. There's 3 positions you need. There's just 3 fucking positions in this team that we need to fill the gaps on. That's it. Get the contracts done for the other big boys, okay? Trent's going to be playing against his maybe new club in the Champions League. Better sort that shit out ASAP. As it stands, I don't see Liverpool going far in the league in terms of competing. I expect us to finish 3rd because we did last season with the same players. So why not go for 3rd again? Chiesa, maybe he'll do something for us. We'll see how that goes. But as it stands at the moment, and I know I've missed out a few other clubs, maybe I just don't think that they're good enough. But for me, as it stands, I don't see Liverpool doing much in this season for a challenge. And that is because of the incompetence of FSG, Michael Edwards, Richard Hughes, whoever else is involved. You can take your pick. Take your pick as to who you want to poke the finger at. All I'm looking at is we had positions we needed to address and fill. The new manager identified it. Couldn't get what was touted as Zubimendi. All right, cool. Who else we got? Well, there is nobody else, so we're just going to focus on the DMs we have in the club now. So why the fuck make a fool out of yourself and everybody by saying, I've identified we need a DM, and then come out and say, we don't need a DM, we've got DMs at home. So I hope Ryan Gravenberch has an injury-free season, which probably won't be, but I hope he has an injury-free season and he has a fucking 7, 8 out of 10 game every single time he plays. Because best believe, if this doesn't work out, we're going to be looking at FSG, at Michael Edwards and Richard Hughes and saying, what the fuck?